How is Lady Gaga's song Abracadabra going to help you stop bad money habits like overspending or impulse buying? Well, keep listening and let's find out. Alright, so from the get-go, the song Abracadabra by Lady Gaga, the title, if we're looking at this for inspiration to make our money lives better, I say abracadabra, magic, like that's a magical phrase. And I think to take away from this, just in the beginning, the title alone, you need to understand that magic isn't going to solve your money problems. So, in speaking to myself for this, sometimes I get these ideas in my head that, oh, my money problems will magically be solved if I get XYZ, if I get a raise, if I start this idea that I have in my mind that requires me to do a whole bunch of additional effort when I am a burnt out individual on top of spending quite a bit of money on this quote unquote idea. No. So right out the gate, just the title Abracadabra, you need to take away from that magic. There isn't going to be a magic fix for your money problems, and anything that is sounding too good to be true to help you probably is, because even if you get that lump sum of money that you think will fix all of your money problems, if you are the problem with your money, giving yourself that lump sum isn't going to make it go away long term. It may make the problems disappear temporarily. So, wave of the wand, abracadabra, lump sum of money. Oh wait, you did not change yourself internally. We're still going to have problems. There is no wave of the magic wand, abracadabra, magic fix for your money. You need to go internally and fix these problems, and that may take time. And I think that that's something to get into your mind, is this isn't a magic trick. Everything just can't go away overnight. More than likely, these problems, if you're having issues with budgeting, overspending, over shopping, shopping addiction, this probably didn't happen overnight. It's very likely that it took time for you to get to where you are currently with these problems. And you have to be realistic on the flip side to say, yeah, it's probably going to take some time to get you out of this predicament as well. It won't be a magical voila, everything is magically gone, everything is magically fixed. Nope. They're called magic tricks because it's a trick. There's a catch. And so if you're seeing something that sounds like it will magically solve your money problems, there's a catch to a magic trick. That's why it's called trick, a magic trick, because it's not magic. And for your money, it's the same way. You're going to have to go internally and fix the root of the problem. So that's the first takeaway from Abracadabra. So let's go look at the lyrics, since we have already dived into just the title alone. So, we have a line that says, pay the toll to the angels. And at first, listening to that, like pay the toll, to me what comes up immediately is you have to pay for things. There are tolls to pay. Like when you're going on certain streets, driving on certain highways, there are fees to pay. And so you could take that into different scenarios here. So let's say that you made some bad money choices. You need to pay the toll to the angels. You got to pay up to the higher powers, or to the people that you loaned money for. If you loaned money from, if maybe you were using a credit card, however you did your bad spending, your bad habits, don't ignore it. Pay the tolls to the angels, to the higher powers, to the companies that you got yourself into debt and pay the toll. That's just going to be the responsible thing to do, is to address that problem, to address those fees, to address the bills, pay the tolls to the angels. And this is a line in the verse. So pay your bills, pay the debt that you are owed. Focus on that, because you chose to drive on that highway, you chose to make that purchase, you chose to blah blah blah. Was it a good choice? Perhaps not, but the better choice is to be responsible and pay your toll to the angels. Don't go off buying non-essential items when you have tolls that you owe the angels, when you have things that you need to pay off. I'm talking to myself right now. Like, if you've been driving down the highway and those tolls have stacked up, let's take care of that, because continuing to drive around and racking up those tolls, it's not going to bode you well later. You're just going to have a bunch of mail and tickets, and that's going to stress you out. So you need to pull over, get a grip, pay what you owe before you keep driving down those paths, or before you keep spending and getting into debt. Think about the routes that you're going to take, and maybe there is an alternative route that you can go instead of taking the road that has a high cost. Maybe you don't have to take the toll road. There are other routes to get to where you want to go, and you can do that in your spending as well. Why are you going that way? Why are you making that purchase? Why are you at that store, that website? Study what your destination is and what prompted you to start on that journey to that item, to that purchase. Work backwards so that maybe you can reroute yourself and say, I'm not going to go that way anymore. I don't need to take that road. I don't need to go to that destination. And then you'll be saving yourself, and you won't have to pay the toll to the angels. But let's keep moving on through the lyrics. So keep your mind on the distance when the devil rolls around. This is a good line as well. We're talking about the distance, so let's flip that into debt. Keep your mind on the debt when the devil comes on your shoulder saying, treat yourself. Let's buy that. Let's get that. Keep your mind on the distance that you have to go towards your financial security, to a good future, to having a good financial place, and being free of that stress. Think of that distance, how far you need to go when you get these temptations, when you get these urges, when the devil comes around. It can be on Instagram, it can be watching TV and seeing advertisements, it could be word of mouth. Keep your eyes and keep your mind on the distance that you need to go in order to achieve your goals. And that can also be translated, keep your mind on the long term. It's really easy to get distracted, but life is a journey. Don't get sidetracked. Don't derail your future over an item that you're not even going to think or care about 10 years down the road. But what you will be thinking and caring about is having money to pay your bills, having peace of mind financially. So keep your mind on the distance, on that longevity, on the long-term financial situation for your life, not just what you're seeing today. Keep your mind on the distance when the devil rolls around. Let's keep going. I do like the line, save me from this empty fight in this game of life. I do think that sometimes when you're, especially in a state of doom scrolling, you can get caught up in the empty fight like that. That is supposed to get you addicted to it. It's supposed to numb your mind, to just make it so easy to click, and before you even know what you did, you have ordered something and you have spent money where if you had not been on that app, or if you had not seen that thing on your phone, if you hadn't opened that email, you would have never purchased that. Out of sight, out of mind sort of thing. So to save yourself from that fight that is hard to win, that empty fight against the temptation that may come to you when you're in these apps, when you're on your phone, or when you're in that store, you got to think backwards. How can I avoid this? Identify what your weakness is. For me, if I'm scrolling on Instagram, the algorithm knows me. It knows what I like to click on, what I like to buy. So to save myself from the empty fight, I need to limit my time on Instagram, or take it off of my phone completely, or remove myself from my phone during times of weakness. My time of weakness is laying on the couch, kind of in a bored state of mind. And I'm looking, because I'm bored, I'm looking for like that rush of dopamine, or that's just my guess. I find that most of my purchases are made in that fashion, via some advertisement, or it won't even be an in-your-face advertisement. It could just be something passive, but then I've clicked on a link, and then something is in my cart, and then I made a purchase where if I was not on my phone, that purchase wouldn't have been made. I would have never known that thing existed. I wouldn't have had that urge then. So to save me from the empty fight, I got to separate myself from my phone, because then I'm not even entering into the ring. I'm setting myself up in a better way, because I'm not even stepping into the arena. Fight? What fight? I have identified this is my trigger. This is something that brings me into that battle of the wallets when I'm on my phone. So I need to step away from the phone. I need to put it somewhere else. If I know that I'm not responsible on it when it comes to money. All right. So let's keep going. I want to say this is the pre-chorus, but where the lyrics are like a poem said by a lady in red, you hear the last few words of your life. What I like about this line in relation to money or overspending, shopping addiction, things along those lines. At the end of your life, will you be saying, oh, I wish I would have bought that? Probably not. I don't think the last few words of your life are going to be about items or things that you purchased. So just keep that in mind, because again, think long term in the distance. The last few words of your life are not going to be about those purchases that you made this year, because the odds of them being life-changing when you're purchasing non-essential items that will likely mean nothing to you even 10 years from now, much less the end of your life, is very slim. So keep that in mind when you feel the impulse. Will this non-essential purchase be something that I'm thinking about in the last few days on earth. Not to be morbid, but to put things in perspective of this junk. And yes, I'm just going to call it junk. It does not matter. But you know what would be something that would be plaguing you at the end of your life is if you spent and wasted so much money that you put yourself in a bad place, that you severed relationships with people that you care about, or family members that you were just stressed out of your mind, that the stress and the worry and the instability had contributed to your decline towards the end of your life, or kind of played into some misfortune or things that were avoidable by making different choices. That is something that you would be thinking about in the last few words of your life. So kind of, again, taking a step back and looking at the overarching picture of the longevity of your life is worth more than whatever it is that you're seeking to buy in a moment's notice. If you are so easily attracted to something, some sort of purchase, and you can convince yourself that quickly to get it, you need to have that same reaction to convince yourself to stop and to wait until you are in a better financial place, or until you can actually determine that this is something that you really want to have. Because as we discussed earlier, the empty fight is being waged with getting your attention and making there be some sort of urgency to buy this now, like you will never have another opportunity. And buying out of fear, you shouldn't be doing things from a place of a negative emotion of fear. Like, if I don't, then what? Then you don't have the item and you have to get it at a later time, and maybe you have to pay a little more for it. Okay, but that's better than buying it at the time right now when you really truly can't afford it, or it wouldn't be a good choice for you to make, and having the regrets. It's better to pay that premium later, or maybe you wouldn't even pay it at all, because by the time that you get to a place where you say, oh, I would like to buy this now, it's in the future, I'm making better choices, I have my emergency fund, I have my finances under control, I'm not even thinking about said item, but if I was, I could buy 2 of them if I wanted to, even at the premium price. Then you're buying from a place of abundance. You're not motivated by fear. When you're motivated by negative emotions, I think you make negative choices. You act out of desperation, and I don't think that that's a good place to be making decisions from. If you can have peace about a purchase, then I think that bodes better for your mental health and your financial well-being. But let's keep moving along through the lyrics. So we're going to go to the chorus, and the end, I think it's the end of this song is broken into different pieces, and I might not be identifying them all correctly, but the lines, in her tongue she said, death or love tonight. And I'm going to attempt to interpret this in the way that I see it in my mind, as a money message. So I think it comes down to, you have to say death or love tonight for your finances when you make choices in the day-to-day. So an example of that would be, you can keep ignoring the problem that you have and not address it, and that it would be choosing death for your finances. death for your financial security and future. If you're just going to keep ignoring it, if you're just going to pretend that nothing's wrong, if you're not going to change your actions, if you're not going to have self-reflection, you're choosing death. The other route, death or love tonight. Okay, today, let's say I choose love instead. I love myself enough to be tough and honest with myself that I have a problem, and I'm going to address it. Saying loving yourself is being honest with yourself and stop enabling your bad behavior. It's reflecting and beginning to put the work in to make change. Again, we've talked distance. This is a long-term thing. Your changes, your habits are not going to change overnight, but you have to first recognize that there is a problem. So when you're going about your day to day and you're saying, to buy or not to buy, and you know that you shouldn't be, you know what your answer is, you can quote yourself, death or love tonight. Do I want to continue to make choices that are going to be the death of my wallet, or am I going to make a choice to love myself and be bringing life back into my finances? Death or love tonight. And you may choose death sometimes, and I think that's to be expected if that's all that you've been doing and that is your habit. But you can also start to change that slowly but surely, and everyone is different. It may take you less time to change this frame of mind, or it might take you some time. That's okay. Rome wasn't built in a day. This didn't happen overnight. You likely didn't get into these pitfalls overnight, so just start with a clean slate every day, because if you messed up and you chose the death yesterday, okay, that was yesterday. Today is today, and you can choose the love tonight. So choose that, and then love yourself when you don't make the right choice, so that you can pick up and move on. If you're going to keep beating yourself up over every little mistake, that is also choosing death. You're choosing to define yourself by that choice, and you can't do that if you want to rise out of this situation. Don't define yourself by the habits that you're trying to break. It is hard. It's hard to do that, or to get out of that mindset of thinking that you're a failure. But if you get stuck in that, you will start to believe it. You have to love yourself out of that and say, I may have made this choice. It wasn't the best choice, but I'm going to learn from it, and tomorrow I'm going to know that I can make a different choice, and know that you can make that choice. And that frame of mind will help you out more than calling yourself this, that, and the other in your head. Let's not do that. Okay, and let's keep going through the lyrics. More lyrics that stick out to me in this song are feel the beat under your feet, the floor's on fire. So I think this is a chorus outro. It's something. It happens after a second set of abracadabering. We have the feel the beat under your feet, the floor's on fire. To me, to translate this into a money message, you need to take a hard look and an assessment of your current state of finances. Feel that beat under your feet. The floor is on fire. So if you need to feel the flames of your actions and stop turning a blind eye to what could be bad budgeting decisions that are just setting your whole future up into a blaze. You need to snap out of it and feel that the floor is on fire so that you can put it out. So maybe for you, this means I actually need to open my bank account. I need to look at my bank statements. I need to start tracking my spending. I need to be budgeting, because it's easy to try to avoid that. It's not going to stop the facts. If the floor is on fire, it's going to burn, if your eyes are closed or not. Open your eyes, because then you can find help. Then you can see the bucket of water. Then you can see to step out of the direct flame and save your feet instead of losing your feet in this incident. If you have your eyes open and can be honest with reality, you can begin to change it, and then you can kind of curb some of the damage that could have happened if you kept your eyes closed. You can see what's going on around you if you have your eyes open, and oftentimes then you can spot the door, you can spot the bucket of water, you can move out of the way. But you can't do that if you're just gonna dissociate from the problem and freeze. So this is the encouragement today. Don't ignore the floor that's on fire. I don't want you to fall through. So just be realistic with yourself, where you are with your money choices and how that's truly impacting you, so that you can get out before everything falls in on you. And if everything has fallen, that is tough to deal with, but don't keep standing in the flames. Just get out of the burning room, get out of the wreckage, and then you can collect yourself and rebuild. Alright, so I'm going to keep going down through the lyrics, and it kind of looks like the lyrics don't change too much. I'm still learning this song in my head. It was stuck in my head today, so I said I'm going to come on here and do a budget bangers and see what money messages we can get from this song, Abracadabra, using it as our inspiration to make better money choices, because that's what we're trying to do on this channel, create a safe space where you can come and be inspired to kind of break out of bad money habits, to fight against overspending, overconsuming, shopping habits, impulse spending, impulse buying. Consider this place to be a safe space for not a focus group, but and it wouldn't be called an encouragement group. What's it called? I wrote it down. A support group. So consider this to be a support group to stop impulse spending, to stop overspending, to stop over shopping. If you have a shopping addiction, these are things that I'm trying to work through, and I'm not going to be maybe 100% put together when I'm trying to relay this message, but I'm trying to help you and also help myself. So consider this a virtual support group, a channel that you can come and listen to things to kind of help talk you out of bad spending habits. And like I said, today we just used the song Abracadabra by Lady Gaga for the inspiration. If you have any song suggestions, drop them in the comments below. And that's all for today.